How's it going, everybody? I am Jason of JasonsRealm here, and today I am here to present with you me and my dad's Week 17 of the 2021 NFL season picks. Now, we've got 16 games to go over, and a recap of last week to go over, so let's just jump right into it. Last week, I went in with a 6-game advantage over my dad, walked out with a 5-game advantage. I went 10-6 last week, he went 11-5. Now, this week, we have 16 more games. But thus far, spoiler alert, there's only 2 games we differ on. But 2 games is 2 games, and he can get 2 more on me. Currently, I am standing at 148, 91, and 1, and my dad is standing at 143, 96, and 1. The tie we just gave as a tie. We found that to be fair. But either way, let's just jump right into this. So, the first game, we have the Philadelphia Eagles at the Washington football team. Now, Washington, they're lifeless. Sorry, Wildflower, but Wildflower doesn't have his pointy stick. So I'm picking the Eagles on this one. The Eagles are fighting for their playoff lives. They're fighting to stay in the playoffs and to stay in the race here in these last couple weeks. This door's fighting me. The door thinks the Eagles are going to win. I think the Eagles are going to win, and my dad thinks the Eagles are going to win. Now, for this next game, we have a tough game, and if everything goes as planned, this will be a game that I'm streaming. We have the Los Angeles Rams at the Baltimore Ravens. Now, the Ravens, they're banged up. Bad. Their secondary's been hit. They have complete turmoil at quarterback. Lamar Jackson hasn't played since week 14, and there's even doubt that he's going to play this week. Now, I think it was Huntley came back from the COVID list today, or today or yesterday or something like that. And if Huntley comes back and Huntley plays, then I say the Rams. If Lamar plays, it's going to be a closer game. The Rams, red hot going into this week. They are on a 4-game win streak. They beat the Cardinals in Glendale. They beat the Seahawks at home. They beat, oh shoot, who else did they beat? Okay, so the Rams currently are on a 4-game win streak. They beat down the Jaguars in their home stadium. They beat the Cardinals in Glendale. They beat the Seahawks on their home turf, and then they went into Minnesota and escaped with a win. This week they have the Ravens in Baltimore. Hopefully one of the games I'll be streaming. It will, as long as my plan goes accordingly. But if there's another plan that comes up, then I would probably not have any games to stream, unfortunately. But either way, that's besides the point. I'm picking the Rams. My dad's picking the Rams. Let's move on. Next game, this is an easy one. You have the deadbeat Jets, who are falling apart at the seams. They don't have much going. And then you have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. There's no question. Both my dad and I picking the Buccaneers on this one. Next, we have the Dolphins, who they have been an interesting team this season at the Titans. Now, the Dolphins, the only team in NFL history to go 7 straight losses and 7 straight wins. Now, I think that they're going to try to fight this week to make their playoff push. But with the AFC South not clinched, the Titans are going to want to lock that up as soon as they can. And with the Colts playing the Raiders, nothing is guaranteed. So I think the Titans are just going to win more out of desperation than anything else. Unfortunately, I think the Dolphins streak ends here. The Dolphins have not been playing quality opponents. Sure, the Titans are without Derrick Henry, but I don't think that makes a difference. I think that the Titans are just the better team, even without Derrick Henry, and they get the win. My dad also agrees. We both picked Tennessee. Up next, we have the Jacksonville Jaguars, completely dysfunctional, and they are going to New England to play the Patriots. No brainer. Both me and my dad agree. Patriots and Mac Jones are going to smack around the Jaguars. Next up, we have the Las Vegas Raiders at the Indianapolis Colts. Now, the Raiders coming off a huge win last week against the Denver Broncos, a divisional opponent, and it keeps them alive in the playoff picture. But they didn't look good doing so, and they are playing a white-hot Colts team. They have been on a tear recently, and with Jonathan Taylor, I don't know if the quarterback situation matters without Carson Wentz. So both me and my dad agree, and we are taking the Colts. Now up next, we have a very good game to watch. I'm pretty sure I'm going to be keeping this one. I'm going to have 4 games to keep track of. I don't know if I have this one offhand. I want to say I do. I hope I do. But this is going to be a great game to watch. the Kansas City Chiefs at the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, the Chiefs, they just got a huge win. They've been hot recently. They've been showing that that rough start was just that, a rough start. They're going to finish strong, and they're going to win the West. Now, the Bengals, they're an enigma. They'll beat down on the bad teams, but whenever they start playing a good opponent, they aren't as consistent. So, for that reason, even though they have a strong roster and they look good on paper, I'm picking the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs are just going to win it because the Bengals have not shown to me that they can really beat. They've shown that they can hang with. They haven't really shown that they can beat a good opponent, at least in recent memory. I have to double check their schedule, but either way, I'm still picking the Bengals or the Chiefs. My dad, on the other hand, he is picking the Bengals. This is the first game we disagree on. Next game, we have the New York Football Giants at the Chicago Bears. The Bears coming off a big win in Seattle in the snow with their current termination coach. At least that's what everyone suspects. This is Matt Nagy's last year, most likely in Chicago at least. He's going to go somewhere else, maybe even the Jags. Who knows? But either way, the Bears came into Seattle in a horrible condition in the snow to beat down on the Seahawks with their third-string quarterback, Nick Foles. And they're going up against this Giants team that just does not have anything really of note active. I mean, this is a no-brainer. Me and my dad both agree we're picking the Bears. Now we have the Atlanta Falcons at the Buffalo Bills. This game is going to be very interesting to see as the Bills are fighting to win the East and the Falcons are fighting to make the playoffs. And both of these teams are going to be playing out of desperation, but let's just cut to the chase. Buffalo's the better team. They have all the weapons. They have the quarterback who can be great. The Falcons, they're a team on the upswing, but I don't think they're going to beat the Bills. And for that reason, both me and my dad picked the Bills, the Buffalo Bills. Now, next, we have the Houston Texans at the San Francisco 49ers. Now, the Houston Texans coming off of a huge win against the Chargers. But they're going to face this 49ers team who's fighting for their playoff lives. They are currently in as they stand, and they have to keep winning. The 49ers know this, and the Texans are not as good of a team, so the 49ers are going to pummel the Houston Texans. Watch, I say that and it ends up being like a 28-24 game. But still, me and my dad agree, San Francisco probably going to win. Up next, we have the Denver Broncos at the Los Angeles Chargers. The Broncos suffering a rough loss last week against the Raiders. The Chargers suffering an even worse loss against the Texans. The Chargers are the better team. The Chargers want to prove that last week was a fluke. So both me and my dad agree Chargers probably going to sneak out with the dub. Next thing we know, our next game we have is the Carolina Panthers at the New Orleans Saints. Both of these teams are in quarterback turmoil right now. Neither team has a long-term answer. The Panthers with Darnold and Newton. The Saints with Taysom Hill, Ian Book, and what was the other guy? They had another guy there. I think it was Trevor Siemian or something. Someone who went like 0-7 or something, or not 0-7, but like didn't do well. Either way, the Saints, they're struggling. The Panthers, they're struggling. But the Saints are expecting to have Taysom Hill back. And for that reason alone, I am picking the Saints. My dad agrees, and he is also picking the Saints. Next up, this one was a tough game for me to pick. The 2-12-1 Detroit Lions at the 5-10 Seahawks. And this game was tough for me because the Lions have shown that they can hang with just about any team in the league. They have pulled out all the stops, and they are in a position where I've been saying this so many times. I'm going to say it again. They have a bright future ahead of them if they play their cards right. But they're going into the Seahawks team where Russell Wilson is going to try to increase his value so that if he eventually, or whenever he most likely eventually gets traded from Seattle, Seattle's going to get the best value, and he is going to be wanted. Now, that being said, anything's possible. The Detroit Lions could pull off this win, but Both me and my dad agree we are both picking the Seattle Seahawks. Up next, we have the Arizona Cardinals at the Dallas Cowboys. This will be another game that I am intending to cover on Sunday and stream. The Cardinals hitting a ice cold streak recently, dropping one to the Rams, dropping one to the Lions, dropping one to the Colts. I think two of those I think were at home, if I recall correctly. I think the Lions were on the road, but still, the Cardinals dropped 3 games in a row, 2 of them at home, one of them against a half beaten to death Rams team, and the other against a 2-win Lions team after the game, 1 win going in. So, against the Cowboys, I mean, yes, it's their get right game. Yes, the Cardinals want to prove that they can win, but I don't think this is their week to win. I think that this is the week that the Cowboys pull it off. My dad agrees. And if these predictions hold, the Rams clinch the NFC West. Next up, we have the Sunday night football game, the Minnesota Vikings at the Green Bay Packers. Now, the Vikings, once again, fighting for their playoff lives. The Packers trying to lock up the #1 seed. So, it's going to be a tough game to predict. The Vikings already beat the Packers once this season, but Aaron Rodgers this time knows he wants that 1 seed and he wants the playoffs to go through Lambeau. And I have to agree with that. Me and my dad both agree that the Packers are going to win and the Vikings are going to be all but dead in the playoff picture come week 18. It's so weird to say 18 because normally it's only 17. Next finally, we have the Monday night football game between the Cleveland Browns and the Pittsburgh Steelers. This one being played at Heinz Field, most likely Ben's last home game in Pittsburgh, and it most likely his last game ever in Heinz Field, because the Steelers have a very tough road and a very slim road to make the playoffs. They are not in control of their own destiny at this point. All they can do is control that they win. That's about it. But the Cleveland Browns looking to be the better team, but they are having quarterback issues. The Steelers limping out a corpse of a quarterback in Big Ben. It's sad to see Big Ben go out like this, but this is unfortunately how it's going to be. My dad picked the Browns. I should pick the Browns, but I'm going to pick the Pittsburgh Steelers because I think that Ben knows. Well, he even came out earlier today at the time of recording. He came out earlier today and said that all signs point to this being his last game at Heinz Field. And if that holds, then I think Big Ben knows that he wants to go out on a win. So I think he's going to do anything he can in his power to make sure those Steelers win this game. And the Steelers have a strong defense. They have some solid receivers, and they got Najee Harris. The only weak point in that team, if Ben really puts in everything, is on the offensive line, which could come back to bite him. But I think that the Steelers win this. My dad picks the Browns. But either way, those are our Week 17 picks for this week. We get to take a look a week from now and see how bad these were or how good these were. But I am just looking forward to this week to see what it has to bring and see what playoff implications we have. But yeah, if you guys like the video, don't forget to smash that like button, hit that subscribe button. It would help out a huge bit. And I guess I will see you guys later. Peace out and have a good one.